Everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob Challenge Roth Edition. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by HOKA, Fly Human Fly, SFuels, right fuel, right time, Master Spas, deboer wetsuits, Premium Plus Sports, and of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, dressed in the Buffalo headset, Mr. Rudy Von Berg joins us. Okay, Rudy, fill me in.
Hi, Bob. I've a little story here. I've always been fascinated by bison since I've been little, really. I was already getting some gifts with bison on them when I was little. And then I went to the Colorado University at Boulder, which are the CU Buffaloes.
Yes, they are.
And it's the only university I applied to. So I was like, oh, this is no coincidence. And then it kind of became a bit of a fun thing with friends, around training. I'd just be like, if they don't do good training, for example, I'd be like, oh, you're not a real bison. And then
you better suck it up if you want to be a bison.
Right, and then there's this thing about this animal. They go into they're the only animal to march into a storm.
Right. Because
they know instinctively that they're going to get out of it quicker. And you can apply that to racing and to tough situations.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I kind of have fun with it now, and I say I'm RVB to bison, and
I like that.
It's kind of a fun thing to go with.
Well, and I was telling you, I've been involved with the Catalina Island Marathon forever and ever, going back to '78, and that is the home of the bison. It's a whole wildlife sanctuary. They've got buffalo everywhere, and they're a scary beast, man. One time I stopped to take a photo with one. Not a good idea.
Yeah, but also that's also why I like them. I feel like I kind of, if you can say it, I kind of align with their character in a way. It's like kind of strength from within, calm and collected, and they're not very aggressive till they need to be.
Yes.
And so I think it's just an amazing animal.
So if you look at your career, is there a couple of races where you've basically brought out your inner bison, where things were going like crap, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm turning this around?
Yeah, I think quite a few where mentally I've really had to turn it around. Or the last one I can think of, Texas last year, leading the race most of the way, and then in the last 10K I get passed for second, and then almost with just a couple miles to go, passed for third.
Yeah, there's three of you guys. All of a sudden, you're like off the front. Now all of a sudden, it's a party.
Yeah, and obviously, in the last 2 miles of an Ironman, you're hurting. Even if your nutrition's good or whatever,
doesn't matter.
You're in pain, and something switched in my head at that point, and I just went super fast and just dug. I was like in the third dimension, just like in a different world.
Yes. And
sprinted for the win.
Inner bison. You drew on your inner bison. I like it.
I was a real bison that day.
That's very cool. I like that. So, early days of Ironman, we had a guy who wore horns like that. He got disqualified for wearing them during the swim because they were doing tail somebody.
That wouldn't be fast.
Yeah. But now, so will you wear this during the run?
Wear this during the run? Yeah, I mean, it would be fun, but this thing doesn't breathe at all. I'm already hot right now, so.
We'll hand it to you as you come into the stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you need. So like people hand you a flag.
A good idea.
So there you go. That way you are always your bison. So when I look at, the thing with you, Rudy, is every once in a while you'll have like the PT or European, but you're so consistent. You're always right there. You win Ironman Texas. You're fourth. And it seems like the bigger the race is, the more consistent you are. I mean, you're running with Magnus at the Ironman World Championship in Nice, and next thing you know, you're one spot off the podium. But when you look at this 47:50, 4:37, 2:42, 8:12, I mean, you got to be happy with the performance and getting fourth, basically in a course that you love. It's not winning, but it's still an inner bison. You're still gutting it out to do getting the most out of that day.
Yeah, I mean, the essential part, I'd say, is having fun. And to have fun, you have to be upfront, kind of mixing it up for the win. Or at least at one point, I told myself, I still do have a shot for the win.
Yes.
And at least, mixing it up with the best out there. So that's definitely what I did in Nice. So I'll always be happy with races like that. And it was also my PR marathon time at the time that I beat by law after in Florida.
Right, 2:38 in Florida.
Yeah, but it was a really good progression throughout the year. The marathon time kind of shows the progression throughout the year, 2:45, 2:42, 2:38.
Uh-huh.
And, this race here, Challenge Roth, is the next one after that, in the next season. But So we'll see if I stay really consistent at this Ironman distance.
Have you done this one before?
No, this is my first time in Challenge Roth.
Bison, rookie Bison here. I like it.
Exactly, yeah.
But this is a good course for you. It's challenging, it's exciting. You do well when there's good crowds. Like in Nice, you got crowds out there. Actually, you do well no matter where you're at. But having the crowds here is going to be a real positive for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a positive for everyone. But the main thing is just I want to experience this.
Right.
We have a lot of races where we're just kind of running in the middle of nowhere. And
not here.
So this I think will be very fun. A lot of people tell me about the atmosphere, and they said it won't disappoint. So
right.
yeah, really looking forward to go through a lot of crowds and feel that energy. So even more if you're battling it up front with let's say Magnus Ditlev winner last 2 years. I mean, that'd be amazing. So
it would be really cool.
Let's see.
Then that you've got Patrick Lange back there, so you want to make sure that you want to make sure he's not too close. But I mean, you're running start running 2:38. That's
the field here. I was looking at the start list. You easily have 6, 7, 8 guys that can win it.
Yes.
Because I mean, they're all winners. So Magnus won Roth last 2 years. Daniel Bakkergaard won Australia last year. Peter Heimrich crushed Portugal last year.
Yep.
Clément Mignon was also a guy. Well, he's not racing anymore. Patrick obviously as well, second at Worlds last year and multiple Ironman winner. So it's all guys that know how to win.
Yes.
So it will be interesting. I think if everyone's on their game, it could be a really tight race.
How do you play it strategy-wise when you've got a deep field like that? It used to be in races you had 1 or 2 and maybe 3 guys. In fact, now when you're doing these T100 races and everybody is the best, and then you're coming to Roth and you're going to Kona or you're going to Nice, the fields are way deeper at these races.
Yeah.
Do you play strategy or do you just go, you know what? I can't control what Magnus does. I can't control what Patrick does.
Yeah, I think it's a bit what you're saying. I think when you have such a deep field, there's less strategy than when it's smaller fields. Because when it's smaller fields, you kind of know exactly who's good at what, and so you kind of develop a specific strategy for that. For this one, I mean, it's a bit linked to Magnus, I guess. I mean, that's it's no secret. We're gonna try to
minimize the damage.
Swim in the front. We hope he's not with the front back. He was here. He was in it last year. He was
out of right there.
And then on the bike, you're gonna want to follow him as much as you can.
Yep.
And and then hopefully you start to run with him, and you can have a run race. So I think that's most of people's strategy. Maybe not Patrick, but everyone else really.
Yeah, and then you just did the T100. You did Alcatraz. And had you done Alcatraz before? I think
no. It's a year first. So I'm pretty happy. These are 2 races in a row here that have been bucket list races.
Yeah, that's an epic event.
So yeah, very excited for a year of firsts.
Jumping off the boat into freaking freezing water. What was that like?
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought, because obviously when you think something's gonna be pretty bad, it doesn't end up being too bad.
Yeah.
But we had the gloves, we had the booties, so it wasn't too cold, but it was very early.
Yes.
It was kind of a grim day, so but it ended up being, I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was an awesome course, and
and you got 7th,
and a really very competitive race.
Oh my God, field was crazy. That was crazy. So you've been so consistent these last few years. What the rest of your season? What are you gonna be doing?
So I'll be doing I'll race here this weekend, and 3 weeks later, end of July, T100 London.
Okay.
And then I'll have a big prep for Kona.
So a big build to Kona.
Yeah, I'll have almost 3 months.
Will you go over there, or maybe stay in Colorado?
I'll be in Colorado, and then I'll go there 18 days before the race.
And just spend some time on the bike course?
Yeah, that's a good amount that I can have really good training, but it's not too long.
Right.
So yeah, it's what I did in 2022. I didn't have the result I wanted in 2022, but that's really other reasons. But I think getting there 18 days before was quite perfect.
Yeah, when you look at, Kona in 2022, you're like 20th. That's not you.
Yeah, honestly, I was in much better shape than I actually showed.
Yeah.
It was it was my first year doing Ironmans.
Yes.
And my nutrition wasn't dialed at all. mostly just on the sodium side, really.
Right.
And by the marathon, or by the half marathon, let's say,
you were done.
I had no more sodium in me. And I didn't even think, it's kind of dumb saying this now, but I wasn't even focusing on sodium at all. Like, I wasn't supplementing. I was really just thinking fluids, carbs, but not really sodium. And I was just kind of dreaming out there on the second half marathon, just walking, running, and just kind of in a different world.
I know you love some of the battles you had. Like you talked about the Ironman Texas, and we Ironman France in, was that 2022?
That was my first one, Ironman France. Yeah,
that was huge, right? Because sort of family there and winning on the course. It's going to be, how different was that course from the World Championship course?
It was very similar. Okay. The bike course is usually a bit short on the normal one, but for World Champs they added the full 10K to get to 180.
Right.
And then on the run as well, it's usually a tad short.
Okay.
So we just had the full distance, but the course was very similar, really.
Right. What do you look at as your best race so far in your still young career?
In my whole career.
Yeah. Or maybe it was the race that told you could be great at this sport.
Yeah, that's quite tough. It just builds year by year. You have, I think usually you have. I'm 30. I'm still building as an athlete, even though I've been in the sport for a while. You have races that you're really proud of every year.
Right.
One that always stays in mind is 2019 70.3 European Champs, just because it was such a special race with Javier Gomez coming so close and then me pulling away again, and I was in great shape. Swim, bike, and run. And then another one that pops in mind is Florida last year, my last full Ironman, with a 2:38 marathon.
2:38 marathon. So now, I mean, you think about it, you go from 2:45 to 2:42 to 2:38. How fast can you go?
Sub 2:30.
Don't you think?
No, that's definitely a stretch, but at least for this one.
But probably 2:33.
In my mind, I'm just thinking sub 2:40. So in the 2:30s would be a very good run.
Yes.
I think it's a tad short here.
Okay.
So might gain a cheeky minute there.
There you go.
But anywhere under 2:40, I think at this point, I'll be quite happy. And then the goal is with that long prep for Kona to be another level above for Kona. So.
Love it. Rudy, always a pleasure to chat with you, my man. I love the fact you're going Buffalo. You're channeling your inner Buffalo. You're going to be taking some people out. That's awesome.
Got to charge ahead on Sunday.
Charging ahead with Rudy Von Berg. There you go. Get yourself a new shirt. Charge with me. Start your own website.
I have a Bison on my shoulder, on my tricep.
Do you?
So, yeah.
Representing. Rudy Von Berg has been our guest. Watch him on Sunday going out there channeling his inner Bison. Thanks, you guys. Hold on. We will be right back.